follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN. The good.
Pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good.
The bad.
I've had it with this job. Got no food, got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
And the ugly.
First of all, that's horrible.
Well, that was the worst piece of crap I've ever seen.
All right, we start positive and then we unleash hell. You know how it works. The good, the future of the Commanders. This organization with Quinn and Kingsbury and great ownership, and now the fan base that is behind them, and they exercised the demons, finally winning a playoff game after 19 years, and they weren't done as they shocked the world and beat Detroit. But they got it right at the quarterback position. And if you're going to have an aggressive coach and an aggressive play caller and a team that's aggressive and a quarterback who doesn't make mistakes and they continue to succeed and get it done on fourth down and 4 of 4 in the red zone, the first rookie to lead in rushing and passing in a playoff game, they're going to be good for a long, long time. And their fans deserve it after the pain and misery they had to endure in the crap with Snyder. And we're going to kill them coming up, but still impressive what the Chiefs have done. I know the luck factor and the mystique and the nonsense. 7 straight AFC title games, 16-1 when the starters play. Still, you know where the ball's going on third down to Kelsey. You still can't stop it. They still make the play of the fourth quarter, get the stop when they have to, the blocked field goal, whatever it may be. I don't know if we'll see this again. You know, we had the incredible run with Brady and Belichick, but they might do it next year too. With Andy and keep the band together. 7 straight AFC title games. Still alive for the three-peat. Congrats to Kansas City.
In August, we said that the Chiefs are more likely to make the AFC title game than they are not to win their division or to miss the playoffs. And here they are yet again. They've hosted 6 of these.
Yeah.
Last year was the only one on the road against Baltimore.
I know.
Well, along those same lines, my good, you can't deny it, man. Travis Kelce, awesome again when it matters most. More than 100 yards receiving in a playoff game. He just delivers in every big spot. If you go back, and it's now an illustrious, very lengthy career postseason resume, that's now 14 straight postseason games where he's had at least 71 receiving yards. 14 straight. The last time he didn't was the Super Bowl in 2020 against the 49ers. Also, in that 14-game stretch, 6 of those he went for more than 100. 4 other games he had more than 90. It doesn't matter. Again, he looks slow, he looks beat up, he looks old, but yet he's wide open, and he's churning along at this old age, and it doesn't matter. Every game, teams can't stop the guy. Also, my good, Saquon Barkley, 200-plus yet again, and 2 long touchdown runs. That's why you went out and got him, because he can add a dimension to any team in the league that you did not have before this. You had average to below average running backs the whole time. You add him to a special offensive line with other weapons on the outside. Very difficult to stop, but in a playoff game at home in the snow, that's how you do it. You feed him the ball over and over and over again, which leads me to my bad. The Ravens coaching staff yesterday. Again, isn't that why you got Derrick Henry?
I know.
Did they watch the Eagles game earlier in the day? At the goal line, you give him 1 carry, it stopped, then you abandon that. 16 carries overall. Terrible job out of them. NFL officials. It was all game long against the Texans. But again, I will ask the question, where is the consistency? The PI in the Baltimore-Buffalo game. I don't know what that was. Nobody does. It certainly wasn't automatic defensive pass interference. The holding against the Bills in the same game. Terrible call. Lamar getting tackled 10 yards out of bounds. No call. BS. PI on, how about this one? Lost under the radar. PI on Witherspoon for the Rams. Or unnecessary roughness, whatever it was called. I forget now at this point. What's the guy supposed to do? Allow Devontae Smith to catch the ball and come down with it and not put his shoulder into him? Horrific call, in my opinion. And the missed call on the head and neck area of Jared Goff on the pick 6. Pereira said 15-yard penalty from the 5-yard line, no touchdown.
Oh, it was a brutal hit. How could they miss it, too?
Right
brutal.
Here. Right to the chin.
Oh, it could have knocked him out.
Of course. I want more consistency here. And, I don't know what we're watching. Fans don't know what we're watching here. So you call it one way in one game and another way in another. It doesn't make any sense. The NFC North 0-3 in the playoffs, average score 31.3 to 16.7.
How about that? What we thought was the best division ever. Couldn't win a playoff game.
Yep, and I got to throw this in there.
Yep.
You did in win-lose. Gonzaga lost again to Santa Clara as 15.5-point favorites. That's on the heels after losing to Oregon State by 9-point favorites. Yikes, man.
Mm-hmm. Not unranked now. One more good on Kansas City. From 4:39 of the second quarter till 4:36 of the third quarter, they didn't run one play on offense.
Oh.
Because Houston had the long drive, and then they had the 10, 11 minute, or 12, whatever it was, 10-minute drive to start the third quarter. That was nuts. My bad. Mahomes. Knock it off. Stop acting like James Harden or Trae Young. Stop with the embellishing. Stop with the shenanigans. Stop being a jabroni. And good job by Aikman calling him out. The tippy toe, slowing down on purpose by the sideline, baiting the officials, trying to get a call after the nonsense what he did earlier in the season against San Francisco. Oh, I'm going to run out of bounds. Oop, I'm going to come back in because I know the officials have my back and they can't hit me. So I'll get the penalty. And then I come back in. Oh, nope, can't do that either. And then and Aikman was so good on what he said. Quote, the QB cannot run around and play games with defenders. He's a runner. You can hit him. And they didn't hit him. And they still threw the flag. It's friendly fire. It must be addressed in the offseason. And he was so good when they're showing the replay. Oh, come on! To lose it like that.
Excellence in the broadcast booth.
That was excellent by Aikman to get that upset when they showed the replay. And then the rules analyst agreed with him as well. That leads to points, man. That can't happen.
I've never done a 180 on somebody so fast in my life. He was a joy to watch for his first 5 years in the NFL. Now he's an eyesore. I can't stand what he's morphed into.
Can't act like James Harden.
Nope.
You can't do that.
Unacceptable, dude. Clean it up.
You're too good. I like Ben Johnson. I think the Bears got an A+ today. But Ben Johnson did a terrible job on Saturday. The concerns we had about Detroit, when healthy, going in a big game, would Campbell be too reckless? And would Johnson forget to rely on the rushing attack and get pass happy? It happened earlier in a loss to Tampa, and I know Goff was terrible, but it also happened Saturday night. I think they're going to go up 14-3, and I think that's a completely different game if he keeps it on the ground. You are getting huge gashes and chunks on the ground. You're eating them alive on the ground. The 30th against the run. It's 3rd and 1. He goes shotgun with Goff. Hit, fumble, Washington ball. They were going to go in and score. It was going to be 14-3. They were ripping off 10 yards of play. And what was worse was the Jamison Williams play. You're still in it. You stole a touchdown out there with Teddy Ballgame. You're okay. You're down 10 at midfield. Plenty of time left. And he draws that up. You must tell him, if it's not there, throw it away. If it's not there, take off and run. There's no need to do that.
But you're also going to trust Jamison Williams, who
That's right.
has been completely unreliable and kind of a bad dude.
Yep. Issues off the field. Remember Randall L. with the putting his finger up to him on the sideline when he got the taunting penalty as well. Bad job by Ben Johnson. I think they would have been an easy game if they just kept it on the ground and they would have ran all over Washington. The ugly Ravens and Lamar. This can't keep happening. And now you wonder if the guy will get it done. Will he win a Super Bowl? I don't know. I mean, last year was right there for you. You're at home. You're favored against Kansas City. It was not a great Kansas City team. Defense played well. Couldn't get it done. 14-2. Double-digit favorite against the Titans. Turnovers. Couldn't get it done. On the road again. I know after the game he said he's sick and tired of it. Why do the turnovers keep happening to you in the playoffs? Because it doesn't happen in the regular season. And it's going to be a tough look when he wins the MVP again and gets it over Allen. Because between the horrific interception and then the stupid fumble, running around carrying the ball like a loaf of bread, that stuff can't happen. And it's one thing to fumble, they pick it up and they take it the other way and it leads to points. Can't happen. The other one, disappointed with some of the play. These games are too big for mental errors and mistakes. Becton, hold your water. Sit tight. That's a great design play by Moore on the screen to Goddard. Would have been 1st and goal inside the 5. Up, an eligible man downfield. Hold. Andrews, terrible job. The fumble dropped the 2-point try. A.J. Brown, don't bitch and complain you're not getting the ball, then they throw it right to you for a touchdown and you drop it. You got to catch that. They would have went up 10. Lamar Jackson, the careless mistakes. Williams with the fumbles. Lane Johnson jumping off sides. False start. encroachment, 4th and goal from the 1-yard line. Can't do stuff like that. You're trying to win a Super Bowl. Clean it up.
Yeah. Well, my ugly. So where would you rank? How would you, like, what's your pecking order of why the Ravens lost the game yesterday? You're not going to pin it on Lamar number 1.
Andrews number 1. Lamar number 2.
Guys, to me, it's Andrews with a bullet number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, the coaching staff. Just, again, they won't because they have, again, like that whole feel, not the Lions coaching quite yet, but the Ravens coaching staff, they'll get the benefit of the doubt. I thought they just dropped the ball yesterday big time. I can't believe they denied him, but Mark Andrews, how does he live with himself after that game? How? And the Lions coaching staff is absolutely the 12 men on defense.
Oh, that can't happen. That's
Can't
happen. It's the biggest play of the game. Yeah, you're right.
Blown away.
Yeah.
They pan over to Dan Campbell. His face is as red as an apple. He's looking up at the jumbo screen. Yeah, that's on you. And that's on Aaron Glenn. How does that happen, guys?
Oh, it was so big. Big. Because they stopped them earlier on that 4th and inches. VSiN, take us wherever you want. Now live 24/7, Sirius XM, channel 158. Whether you're at home, on the road, or on the go, more ways than ever to tune into VSiN. Stream us live, VSiN.com, VSiN Watch App, YouTube TV, iHeartRadio, Fire TV, and now Sirius XM, channel 158. Win-lose coming up. Matt Youmans and the KC nonsense. Before we get out of here, follow the money.
Night? Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, let's start with Saturday. Chiefs-Texans, first touchdown. Hunt, plus 950. Safety, 10-1. Most receiving yards, of course. Kelsey again, 4-1. Kelsey to have 100 yards. Everyone should have their head examined that didn't have this, because Mitch had to break down Friday. Every big game this guy delivers. He does nothing in the regular season. Shows up for the playoffs. That paid plus 725. Mixon and Kelsey touchdown. Both plus 525. Missed extra point. Plus 240. Chiefs to win by 8 to 14 points. Plus 390. Lions Commanders. Here's another example with the great props at Circa that if you thought there was a way Washington could win the game, McLaurin, Robinson, these guys, Daniels, they had to go off, get in the end zone, throw for touchdowns, and that paid well. And certainly that happened too. I know hindsight's 20/20. Commander money line, 4-1. First touchdown, Gibbs plus 450. Defensive or special teams touchdown plus 265. Anytime touchdown, McNichols, 15-1. Who had that? Show it. Ertz touchdown, 3-1. Here's what I'm talking about. Daniels 2 touchdowns and the Commanders win. Plus 775 at Circa. Robinson touchdown and they win. 975. McLaurin touchdown and they win. Plus 925. Gibbs 100 yards. Plus 230. St. Brown 100 yards. Plus 225. Commanders win by 8 to 14 points. 20-1. Eagles Rams. First touchdown of the game. Hurts 5-1. Didn't look like the same quarterback after the knee injury. Sacked, 7 times and took the safety, but he had it going early. Eagles to win by 1 to 7 points plus 225. Missed extra point plus 240. Safety again, 10-1. Higbee, anytime touchdown, 4-1. Parkinson, anytime touchdown, 12-1. Who had it? Let's see it. Stafford, 300 yards plus 675 in the blizzard, which was fantastic television. The second half was awesome that we got that in a divisional round. Barkley, 2 touchdowns plus 325. Barkley to score and have 150 yards plus 450. Williams, 100 yards plus 350. Both teams to score in the first quarter plus 155. Bills Ravens, first touchdown Bateman, 14-1. Ray Davis, anytime touchdown, 4-1. Allen touchdown and the Bills win, plus 260. For the week, Most passing yards. Stafford, in those conditions and in the elements, plus 850. Figured to be a lot higher once you saw how it was coming down sideways in the second half. What a game by Stafford. What a gutsy performance and a great coaching job by the Rams. They were 1-4. They had a ton of injuries. Nothing was going right. What Shula did to this defense, how McVay held everyone together, and the SoCal guys who are supposed to be soft go out there with sweatshirts and outplay the Eagles in the snow. Great job all the way around with the Rams organization. Brown, most receiving yards, plus 850. Most rushing yards, Barkley, plus 250. All teams to make a field goal. Yes, plus 250. One that just missed. Every team to have a rushing touchdown. The Rams were the only one who didn't get it. Open 40-1, closed 20. Most points, Commanders. There it was, plus 850. I mean, if you thought they could win the game, they're going to have to score a ton of points like I was talking about earlier, Mitch, with these props. Like, if the Washington's going to win, Daniel's going to have to throw for a couple touchdowns. McLaurin's going to have to score. You figure Robinson's going to get into the end zone. Suddenly that becomes 9-10-1.
We talked about that precise angle over and over last week, specifically on Friday. And they were, I think we saw them like almost teetering on 10-1. I know different prices were around there.
Yeah.
Right, but the variance of that game, off the charts, several different outcomes were possible, one of which was the Commanders winning in a high-scoring game, and voila, there you go.
Yep. Fewest points, Texans, 2-1. UFC, 311. Guskov by submission, 16-1. Round 2, 4-1. Gavarov, decision, 8-1. He was plus 550 to win the fight. Wow. Big move on Nakamura. Barcelos by decision, 14-1. To win, plus 650. DeRitter, round 1, 6-1. Yuri, round 3, 9-1. Makayev opened $6, closed $12. Easy winner. College basketball upsets again. Creighton plus 285 beat UConn. Buffalo plus 350. Gonzaga loses again. In overtime at home, Santa Clara 10-11-1. Xavier 4-1. Stanford 6-1. Vandy 2-1. West Virginia plus 240. Rider 3-1. UNLV plus 440. One at San Diego State. Cal Riverside 4-1. Celtics lose again at home and in overtime. Hawks got them plus 350 on a money line. One in the Premier League, Bournemouth, was 4-1. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. They never taught him how to do this. They never told him. But the dog always goes out and wipes his feet, coming back in before he gets the... Okay, go out, do your business, come on in, wipe your feet. There you go. How good is that? Every single time he comes in, make sure you wipe your paws off, right? Right on the mat, no problem. After you're going outside, do your business. Okay, on about my day. There you go.
Watch the leap, by the way, from the outside wood. Right? Boom.
Yes, right. Nailed it.
Off the top rope.
Yeah, excellent. Look at that. He knows how to do that. Lose some. Nakamura opened $5.50, closed $8. Lost. Bad for the books. Chiefs from 7.5 to 9.5. Fell 9. Again, not good for the books. Not a disaster, but always it depends on where you shop as well. One book said it was a disaster, seeing that Patrick Everson dancing around town. Commanders from 10.5 down to 8. They went outright. That's win some, lose some. It was incredible how those games landed and finished. Bills total 51.5, 52, 52.5, falls 52. Chiefs 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, falls 9. Rams 6, 6.5, 7, falls 6. Missed extra points. And how about how the games played out? Every winning team was outgained. Every losing team had more first downs. All 4 winning teams combined for 0 turnovers. Houston didn't turn it over. Lions had 5. Ravens had 3. Rams had 2. We'll get to the luck factor with Kansas City coming up. The Bills are plus 24 in the turnover battle this year. Is that going to continue? Baltimore outplays them, loses. -3 turnover battle. Andrews can't catch a cold. And then the fumble. Ravens, first team in NFL history to rush for 175 yards, complete 70% of their passes, average 10 yards per pass, convert 70% of their third downs. No punts, no missed field goals. Lost. Texans, outgained the Chiefs by over 100 yards. No turnovers. Teams in NFL history in playoff games were 49-0. Make it 49-1. Yards, 336 to 212. Houston, 10 of 17 on third down. All but the penalties. 8 for 82. Kansas City, 29 yards. As Ryans and Anderson said after the game, we knew we were playing the officials too. Incredible comment, but accurate. Ridiculous. How Kansas City can keep doing this and pull this out. Bizarre games. Rams, great job. Great comeback. But the turnovers, the Williams fumble, the Stafford fumble. Couldn't slow down Barkley when it mattered. Still, you make one play at the end, you can win the game. And the big sack by Carter put it on ice. Still waiting on the Eagles to show up and give me their A game. It's been a while, but they're one win away from the Super Bowl. Nuts how these games turned out. But even though Kansas City should have lost, they pulled it out. Going back to what happened again. Fairbairn misses a 55-yard field goal. The Texans were adamant that they were offsides. I never got a good look on the replay. They recover their own fumble on at the kick return. They block another field goal. And they always find Kelsey when they need it. That's why I'm on the Chiefs money line in the AFC title game. KC's the fourth team to reach the title game after going back-to-back. The previous three did lose. But we'll see if Buffalo can exercise the demons in Kansas City. I like the Chiefs. Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VSiN. If you're serious about sports betting, you need the G-Bank Visa Signature Card. Most credit cards treat sports books and gaming transactions as cash advances, even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right there. Limited time, get a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in your first 90 days. Apply now, VSiN.com/G-Bank, VSiN.com/G-Bank. The hockey is still hot, too. Boston, goal in the first 10, won today. 10 of 11. Seattle did it again. 11 in a row. Detroit, 16 of 17. Philadelphia, 11 in a row. Chicago, 11 of 12. Toronto, 16 of 19. Edmonton, 18 and 3 on the road. More on that coming up tomorrow. Matt Youmans on Ben Johnson of the Bears and Ohio State Notre Dame coming up on VSiN. Follow the Money, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Start making smarter bets today with a VSiN Pro subscription. Sign up now, 25% off an annual subscription. Promo code FTM. Dominate the playoffs and beyond with instant access. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. The 24/7 access to the live video stream and on-demand show replays. And the upcoming Super Bowl betting guide. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Sign up now, VSiN.com/subscribe. Promo code FTM. Save 25% off the VSiN Pro annual subscription today. VSiN.com/subscribe. Youmans is here talking about the big news of the day. I'm stunned. They got it right. I gave him an A. You're from the area. You covered the Chicago team, especially the Bulls. What do you think of the Bears getting Ben Johnson? How surprised are you?
I covered the Bears for 5 years in the late 90s. Dave Wanstedt was first. He was first to coach.
Yeah.
And then he was out. Bears never made the playoffs in the 5 years I covered the team. But I'm surprised, really, really surprised. And here's why. Because if you're Ben Johnson and you have your pick of these jobs, Paul, why are you picking this Chicago front office? Kevin Warren has proven incompetent. Ryan Poles has done one of the worst jobs of any GM in the league. And you're going to step into that situation and work with Warren and Poles is a little bit surprising to me. Now, you're going to hear the pro-Bears people say, well, you got a quarterback. You got Caleb Williams you can work with, and you don't have that necessarily. Do you want to work with Trevor Lawrence? You probably wouldn't, right?
No.
The Raiders situation, don't really have a quarterback.
Right.
But you can find a quarterback, and that's why from what I saw from Caleb Williams this year, I think Ben Johnson's got his work cut out for him. He's got a lot of work to do on a quarterback who can't really operate within the structure of an offense, is always trying to freelance.
That's right.
And so I think it's going to be a challenging job, especially in a division where you got to compete with the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings. So I was a bit surprised that Ben Johnson did pick the Bears. But is it a lock, Paul Howard, that Ben Johnson's going to be a great head coach? Why did you call the wide receiver pass with Jamison Williams?
Horrible.
Why do you have your quarterback setting up in the shotgun on 3rd and 1 like you and I were talking about during the break? Situations like that really annoy you when you watch these coaches and you wonder, on top of everything else, can the guy manage a game in clock situations? You don't know that for sure.
You know what my answer is?
When you've never been a head coach.
Right. I think he was trying to show off.
Do you? Yeah.
That I've been deep in my bag for 2 weeks, and here's what I can come up with, and that's stupid. You got to know the time and situation and understand. They were running all over him. They're 30th against the run.
Yeah,
you're gashing them. That was stupid.
It was.
So I'm with you.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that he was trying to show off.
Right.
Yeah.
So the experts quote were right that he wanted this job last year, and this is the job he wanted. They also were way off here saying it was Raiders or stay with the Lions.
Right. Well, I think a lot of times these NFL insiders might be told something from somebody who doesn't really know what they're talking about, and they're just trying to throw a report out there because they want to be first. You got so many reporters who want to be first and don't care about being right, and they're just going to throw some crap against the wall and hope it sticks and say, well, I called that one. It's a lot of reporters in the NFL media. There are a few that have a lot of credibility. I think some are just guessing. When you're talking about this Ben Johnson situation, did anybody really have inside information? I don't think so. Because what we heard was Ben Johnson was going to the Raiders or he's going to stay put with the Lions. So nobody knew what they were talking about.
I think this is why this is so big, though. I mean, maybe it doesn't work. You're right. Nothing's a lock. But going back, the bad coaches you've had, Fox,
right,
Eberflus, Tressman. I know you laughed at the hire.
Oh, I hated the Matt Nagy hire.
Nagy was right because Nagy promised creativity and imagination and delivered crap, and there was none of it. Now, congratulations, he did make the playoffs with Trubisky, right?
One big year,
and the double doink, right? But we never saw any of that with Chicago, and I would think you're going to see this, and with all the weapons that they have, it's going to look like a professional outfit. But that's where you got to love it if you're a Chicago fan, based on what you've had the last 10, 15 years. And now this guy can come in, whether he's socially awkward or not a leader of men, whatever. I know once he walks up there and can diagram a play and get scheme guys open and tell Williams what to do and what not to do and manage the clock properly.
You want to talk about socially awkward? How about Matt Nagy? How about Matt Eberflus? Two of the Mark Tressman. Bears haven't really hired a competent head coach in about 10 years. Give Ben Johnson a shot. I think the Bears are lucky to get him. Let's put it that way. There's no guarantee he's going to be a big success, but I do think the Bears were lucky to get him.
What do you think the Raiders do now?
You know what? Who I'd seriously look at is Pete Carroll. I think the Raiders got to look at a proven winner as a head coach. A guy can come in and, make it a professional organization again, because under Antonio Pierce, things kind of slipped, right? It was like the substitute teacher was in charge of class, and the students had the run of the building. And I think somebody's got to come in and straighten that thing up, and maybe it's Tom Brady and Pete Carroll who get the Raiders fixed. There's some other options out there. I really think Cliff Kingsbury is going to be an option as a head coach, and I thought the Bears might actually make a serious run at Kingsbury because he knows Caleb Williams, and he'd be a good coach to help turn around a quarterback like that. The Bears were close to hiring Kingsbury as offensive coordinator, as you know, about this time a year ago. So I think that's an option. You got to hire somebody who's been a head coach before, though, at this point. If you lose out on Ben Johnson, I think you have to hire somebody who's got head coach experience here in Vegas.
You're coming up with Tim Murray leading the pregame.
He's nervous.
Game at 4:30. Yeah. A 9-point dog now. What are your thoughts on this game tonight? I like that prop you found. We talked about it. Both quarterbacks to have 10 yards passing in each quarter. It's a DraftKings plus 125.
Doesn't it look too easy?
Yeah, right. It's like Will Howard have 100 yards in both halves.
Yeah,
plus 150.
Right. And you think Howard's going to be putting the ball in the air quite a bit tonight. I'm not worried about the Will Howard part of that prop, because if Ohio State's offense is going to have success, you got to use the pass to set up the run. You got to spread the field. Will Howard's got to be putting the ball in the hands of the playmakers, and you got to try to exploit Notre Dame's man defensive coverage. Al Golden, the Notre Dame defensive coordinator, loves to play man coverage.
Yep.
And what can Ohio State do in man? Exploit that type of defense. and exploit that type of scheme. I think why Texas was so successful against Ohio State is they were playing a lot of zone, mixing things up, and they had guys in the secondary who were kind of locking down Jeremiah Smith and some of the Buckeyes playmakers. Notre Dame's going to struggle with that tonight. So when you look at that prop of 10 yards passing in each quarter, I'm not worried about the Will Howard part. There is going to be one quarter where we might not get it from Riley Leonard, right, where Notre Dame's just going to stick with the run and grind it out on the ground, and maybe he doesn't go to the air because he had 90 yards passing against Georgia. He did have, I think, right around 230 yards passing, or 224 against Penn State in the previous game. But I kind of like that prop. Paul, would you play it? You can actually bet it 15 yards passing in each quarter at like plus 225, or 20 yards at plus 350. Do you want to take a chance with something like that, or do you stick with the 10 yards? I just stuck with the 10 yards because I'm worried about Riley Leonard in one quarter not throwing the ball much, right?
Is this correlated?
What's that?
Notre Dame and under?
I don't know, man. See, here's the thing.
Brad Powers' favorite bet is the Notre Dame team total under 17.5.
I know, yeah.
They have to take care of the ball. They've only lost the turnover battle twice. Great defense. So do the Buckeyes. How do you see this in terms of how Notre Dame can hang in this one?
Notre Dame's going to have to slow the tempo of the game. We talked about this on our VSiN College Football Betting podcast last week. Tempo is a key to this for both teams. Notre Dame's got to try to slow the pace of the game, run the ball, run the clock, and that's how you drag Ohio State into the mud and get them to play your style of game. So if the Irish are effective doing that, I think you're right. It'd be under the total. I did play Notre Dame plus 8.5 here. I'll talk a little bit more detail how I bet this, but Notre Dame's got to slow the tempo, and they need Ohio State to make a couple big mistakes. Notre Dame defense leads the nation in takeaways with 32 turnovers. And Ohio State, if it plays a flawless game tonight, Notre Dame's not going to win. But Buckeyes make a couple of mistakes.
Penalties, too. They were constantly in 1st and 20 against Texas, 1st and 15.
They make a couple of mistakes here and there and aren't successful in speeding up the pace of the game, then the Irish got a real shot. What we talked about last week was Ohio State. You got to play at a fast tempo. I wouldn't be huddling up tonight. I'd be almost no huddle offense, trying to run as many plays as possible and trying to keep this Notre Dame defense on its heels. So the Irish are going to want to run the ball, run the clock. Ohio State should want to speed things up. The way Chip Kelly screwed up the Michigan game, that was a mess in the Michigan game. Chip Kelly's play calling, trying to play power football and run it between the tackles. He ran between the guards 19 times for 18 yards. That was stupid football. All right, low IQ play calling by Chip Kelly. Ohio State's got to do the exact opposite tonight. So if the Buckeyes speed up the pace of the game, yeah, you'd probably say Ohio State and over would be the way you'd look. It's hard to predict right now who's going to win out in terms of the contrasting styles. Is Notre Dame going to be effective trying to slow down the pace of the game? Also, I did bet a prop on Notre Dame's first drive, the result to be a punt. I think the play calling is going to be really conservative coming out of the gate. Irish probably going to run the ball 2 times in the first 3 plays and probably punt on their first series, and that's minus 130. I think the first 3 series against Penn State, Notre Dame had punt, interception, punt, and I think you'll probably see something like that tonight.
Need a big special teams play, too, as well. I think that has to be big for them to get this done. Again, favorites 5-0 straight up in ATS, last 5 title games, and the good number from Mackinnon. If you can't crack 21 points, you're dead. 1-15 straight up ATS run from the loser there. Great job, Matt. We'll be listening to you coming up. Some people call it luck and greatness. I call it nonsense and shenanigans. The Kansas City Chiefs up next with a big breakdown on Follow the Money.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I had fatigue years ago with the Kansas City Chiefs, and now I think the rest of the country was starting to get fed up last year, and now it's continued. 16-1 when the starters play, hosting the AFC title game again, 7 straight trips to the AFC title game. And yards, Houston 336, Kansas City 212, Houston 10 of 17 on third down. Houston played clean football, still lost. Previously, teams were 49-0 all time in the NFL playoffs. Your big boy, some mistakes, yes. Fairbairn missed 2 field goals. Houston thought Kansas City was offside on one of them. More on that coming up. and he blows the extra point. Penalties, Houston 8 for 82. 2 of them were nonsense. Kansas City, just 29 yards. It won't stop. It's every game. And now to make matters worse, great job by Aikman calling him out. I got Mahomes acting like Trae Young and a soccer player and slowing down on the sidelines on purpose, embellishing, flopping, and acting like someone shot him as he's out there on the field. Aikman to scream on the mic, you got to be kidding me. Oh, come on. Excellent job. And the rules official to say there was no contact to the head or the neck area. That shouldn't be a penalty. It was friendly fire. Yet still the flag comes down and Aikman lost it. Updated scoreboard on the officiating in yet another Chiefs debacle. Egregious roughing the passer called on Will Anderson on a key third down. That was not a penalty. That led to Kansas City points. Big mistake. Again, as Belichick always said, make everything reviewable. He didn't touch him. Clear holding on Mahomes' third down scramble, not called. Clear offside on Texans' field goal attempt, Fairbairn from 55, not called. Didn't get a good enough look on this on review, but they were animated on the Houston sideline. Ryans was up in arms, losing his mind. Where was the flag that they left early? Didn't get a good replay. Hip drop tackle on Schultz, not called. Bad spot on what should have been a Texans first down. This was big. Number 5, bad spot on what should have been a Texans first down, immediately called an illegal motion on the next play. Huge sequence there. Enormous. Much like the Baltimore game, where it's 3rd and long. That's not pass interference. Steratore and Romo said, nope, that's clean. Steratore said hand fighting. Let it go. The player just trips. All of a sudden, a long field goal becomes 1st and goal, and the Bills cash in. Well, wouldn't they know it? They win by 2 points. Can't make these calls. And the big one, number 6, as we just talked about. 2 Texans players collide heads. Don't touch Mahomes. Penalty on the Texans. A big 15 yards. Aikman loses his mind. 1 Texans player said no comment. The other one said it is what it is. It is what it is. Will Anderson said we knew we were going to have to come in here and play the officials as well. And Ryan said we knew we were going to have to beat everybody. It was everybody against the Texans. This is unfortunate for the league. This can't continue. Every big call goes their way. This leads me to number 2. Ways the Chiefs have pulled out wins this year. How many times is their luck going to run out? Are they going to three-peat doing this tap dance, tightrope every single week? To play like that and only have 200 yards and you still win, and in most spots cover, is an all-timer. Those stats tell you Houston should have won the game. And some of you were unlucky enough not even cash the ticket. Week 1, Likely's toenail out of bounds, or the Ravens would have won. Questionable penalty on the Bengals. They're celebrating. Oh, here comes the laundry. Game-winning field goal. The Chiefs survive. Non-call against the Falcons. Against the Chiefs. Atlanta should have won that game. A holding call. Blatant holding call in the end zone. Again, it benefits the Chiefs. The Buccaneers don't go for 2. They lose the coin toss in overtime. Right down the field, that's all she wrote. The blocked field goal against the Broncos. This is the luck factor. Not in the officiating, but it's right there for Denver, set up for a chippy. Huge in-play favorite. And again, they come up with the big block. Just like, again, Fairbairn couldn't make it. It was chippy to put it on 8. And he had to get bailed out by the safety. Last-second field goal to beat the Panthers. The Raiders botched snap. Again, there was questions about the officiating there, too, and what happened at the end. With the false start, or was it offsides? What happened there with the confusion? Raiders were adamant and up in arms. No, that's not right. And then they blow the botch snap, and they blow that game in Kansas City. Dicker has the worst kickoff in NFL history, leads to a doink, and in field goal from the Chiefs. I don't know what happened on that field goal. But again, that worked out for Kansas City, and they pulled it out. But to be 16-1 here when your starters play and every single break goes your way in every single call, is it just going to continue 2 more weeks? I've never seen anything like this. You know, yeah, the Texans also had some self-inflicted wounds, but as Mitch tweeted, this is going to be the luckiest team I've ever seen in 40 years watching sports. Every break goes their way. And again, they have the benefit because of everything that just happened here. If a couple calls go their way, if there's one missed kick, they're not the 1 seed, and they're not going to go to the Super Bowl. But now, it's hard to win at Arrowhead. So Friday with us, Iron Eagle called it the mystique. And everything seems to be lined up against their opponent. And that's what the Bills are up against on Sunday. Can't beat them in the playoffs. You beat them in the regular season, can't get it done come playoff time. But the Bills also have a little luck factor working for them, too. Plus 24 in the turnover battle this year. Plus 3 yesterday. Outplayed, still found a way to win. And the break from Andrews, not once but twice the fumble, and then he drops the 2-point try. At some point, this has to end. When is it going to end? And as I said earlier, they're the 4th team to reach the title game after going back-to-back. The previous 3 lost. I will thank them for this. This is a fun collage here. They are responsible for giving us some incredible bad beats in great situations. Top of the screen. Mahomes slides down to get the first down just inside the 2-yard line as the Chiefs win, don't cover, and they run out the clock. Top right, there they are taking the safety on Saturday, and it falls 9. Bottom left, likely, toenail out. Ravens lose. Chiefs get the money. Bottom right, the blocked field goal by Denver, and somehow the Chiefs survive again, and a big reason why they were able to get the 1 seed as well. I mean, think about how many breaks we're talking about here. How many things can go their way? And the Sunday night was egregious, too, against the Falcons. Should have lost to the Raiders. Should have lost at least one of the Charger games. Could have lost the Tampa game. Should have lost to Atlanta. Should have lost to Cincinnati. Could have lost to Baltimore. Maybe should have lost. And then you definitely should have lost Saturday when you see how it played out in the numbers. Epic. Incredible. But also going back to the luck factor, it seems like every single time they fumble in the playoffs, they jump on it. They recover their own fumble or they jump on the opponent's turnover. That's also incredible. But what Pat's been able to do, a 32-3 touchdown INT ratio at home. And finding a way to win, there's a lot to it. I mean, look at how these games played out. Rams beat themselves, outplayed Philly. 2 big turnovers. The one set them up first and goal. Baltimore outplayed Buffalo, -3 in the turnover battle. Houston right there was just an all-time fluke box score. And then we know what the Lions did, turning it over 5 times. But here's an organization in Houston that's 0-6 now in the divisional round, and this guy is now 7-0. With a 17-0 touchdown INT ratio in the divisional round. And also, I'd rather be lucky than good, though. How about if you're a Baltimore Raven fan? How about the last 2 years, how it's played out for Baltimore? Remember last year's AFC title game? Remember Flowers stretching? Maybe they win the Super Bowl. Ball knocked out at the 1-yard line. You know what happened. Of course, Kansas City has it. Every close call, every key play goes their way. And then what happened yesterday? Look at this. Andrews, wide open. Tie game. How does an NFL player drop that? How did the Bills punch it out? He's in the middle of the field, wide open. Big reception in Bills territory. Fumbles the ball. The Lamar interception. The weird Lamar fumble. Bad snap. Okay, I have it. Then I'm running around carrying it. And then I not only do I fumble, it's a big return for Buffalo and sets them up as well. There's just no way you can lose that game if you're Baltimore. And the Bills get it done. Tough offseason for the Ravens. You wonder if the window's closed on Detroit now. They're going to lose both coordinators. And you wonder if Lamar's ever going to get it done. Because these turnovers continue to follow him around every January. And I know he keeps saying he's sick of it and he owns it. But again, it happened with the bad interception and the bad fumble. And then what happened to Andrews as well. Stay tuned. Notre Dame, Ohio State coming up. VSiN Prime Time with Youmans and Murray. Stick around, cashing out Joe Serralo, 11 p.m. Eastern. And wake up, VSiN by the books with Dave Ross, starting at 7 a.m. Good luck out there with your bets. We'll talk to you tomorrow. VSiN Follow the Money, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158.